Alright, so guys, yung topic natin is IFRS 3, IFRS 10. So walang pinagkaiba po yung 3 tsaka 10 ha. Kinami-paste lang naman po natin. Okay? So, kinami-paste po ng Philippines and bala ko sana medyo mahirap na i-discuss siya ng practice tapos may students din. So, kinumbine niya yung lecture. Hopefully, magiging okay siya. So, yung goal natin is IFRS 3 muna. So, IFRS 3 or IFRS 3 is going to deal with business combination. Take note niyo po na hindi po siya pareho pagdating po sa pagko-consolidate ng financial statement. No? This is just the concepts of what is a business combination, what's the steps sa pag-acquire ng negosyo, mga fundamentals lang siya. So, hindi mo makikita dito, or hindi namin makikita dito, yung references po ng pagko-consolidate ng financial statement. Details lang po siya. Okay? So yan, imagine po natin yung scope ng IFRS 3, acquisition method measurements, and goodwill, and the non-controlling interest. Again, yung standard na to, ang focus lang natin dito yung basic concepts niya. If you want to learn more about consolidated financial statements, later po sa lecture natin, IFRS 10 po siya nakikita. Okay, let's start. Paano po ba ang isang business combination? Nagsisimula po tayo sa isang entity na mag-acquire po ng ibang entities or yung tinatawag nating parent. Hindi ka naman siguro Philippine, pero siguro naman alam niyo naman to. So Jollibee, lahat naman, hindi ka Pilipino pag di mo alam. So Jollibee is one of the most well-known businesses that has been known to acquire several types of businesses. Okay? So si Jollibee po, meron po siyang na-acquire po na business. So example po nito si Coffee Bean. And the acquirement po with Coffee Bean is, as of now, 80%. Now dito, this is also an acquisition, but this type of acquisition po is not an entire acquisition. Nakapasok po sa types of acquisition. Okay? Meron po tayong tinatawag na acquisition of all net assets. So, very important po yung wording natin sa net assets, no? Lahat. So, dito naman, makikita niyo 80% owned. So, ano naman tawag ka kapag hindi mo in-acquire lahat? Tawag po dyan ay acquisition of shares. Dito, nagkakaroon po tayo ng parang barya or nagkakaroon po tayo ng naiiwan na portion na meron pang may-ari pero hindi po yung parent. So ang tawag po dyan is your non-controlling interest. So anyways, example po, as of making po 80% po ni Jollibee si Coffee Bean. Now, next is Milk Siya. Ewan ko kung familiar kayo dito, pero sa Chowking po siya. Yan yung nagbebenta po ng milk tea sa Chowking. Okay? As of writing po, 51% owned po siya. So, ano ibig sabihin kapag 51%? Nagpapasok yung investment in, well, actually, subsidiary na rin ito kasi lumpas ng 50%. No? But kung below 50%, yan yung investment in associates po natin. Okay? Now, si Milk Siya, 51%, so may control po si Jollibee over this. Kaya po nakikita siya sa mga Chowking. Kung bibili po kayo ng milk tea sa Chowking, Milk Siya yung milk tea na binibenta nila. Milk Siya is actually a Taiwan brand which was acquired by Jollibee. Another one, dito naman po ay hindi siya nag-constitute ng business combination, pero nag-constitute po siya ng tinatawag nating joint venture. Hindi siya considered as business combination. Because there is no control na isang tao lang. Ang tawag dito ay joint control. Speaking of, ito po yan, Burger King. Jollibee has a joint partnership with another firm here in the Philippines that co-acquired co-acquired Burger King. Okay? So ang tawag natin dito ay joint venture. So, as you notice, ang dami pong mga negosyo na hawak po ni Jollibee. No? Joint venture siya, may ka-partners sila. Then, magka-partner na yan, nag-acquire po sila ng isa pang entity. Okay? Next is, ito siguro alam na rin natin, ever since, ewan ko kung naabutan niyo yung mga first years po nito, no? Mga inasal, no? Ever since po dumating yung mga inasal dito, ang ganda po ng service nila dati, pero ever since na-acquire ni Jollibee, napansin ko, puro mantika na lahat, no? So, anyways, si Mang Inasal, previously, it was 70% owned. Okay? Now, in the current years, binili na po ni Jollibee lahat ng Mang Inasal po. Fully owned na po siya as of speaking. So, si Mang Inasal is an example of a full acquisition where si Jollibee na po technically ang may-ari. All of the assets of Mang Inasal, when reported in a consolidated FS, should be combined with the FS of Jollibee. However, tandaan nyo that when it comes to business combination, lahat to, i-combine natin. Okay? However, syempre, because of the time, hindi tayo makakagawa ng isang buong consolidation. Ang idea lang natin is yung concepts po. So, ibig sabihin po, sa nakikita nyo po dito, si Coffee Bean, si Milk Shop, tsaka si Mang Inasal, kapag po magpe-present si Jollibee ng tinatawag nating consolidated financial statement, lahat ng assets nitong mga kumpanya na ito, ay i-combine po natin sa isa mo. Sa isa mo. Okay? However, notice na si Burger King, hindi po siya mako-combine. Depende po kasi yan. And that would open another concept, okay, for joint venture. So hindi po siya covered sa joint venture. Pero sa joint venture kasi meron tayong joint operations, tsaka joint venture itself. So hindi po siya pasok sa topic natin today. So, start na tayo din. So, ang tawag natin dito is group accounting, where ino-combine po natin lahat sa isang buong group. And ang medyo nakakalito dito kasi is yung proseso po ng pag-consolidate nila at ang proseso po ng pag-a-acquire po nila. So, group accounting po is going to cover PAS number 27 called separate financial statements. So, ibig sabihin po, even if own po ni parent, 100% po si subsidiary, hindi po ibig sabihin na si subsidiary hindi na kailangan mag-file ng separate financial statement nila. Only the parent files their consolidated financial statements, but the subsidiaries are still allowed to file. This is under PAS number 27. So this is presenting your separate financial statements and the investees presented in one line in the financial statement. Okay? Next, meron tayo PAS number 27 again for separate financial statements. Paki-edit ko, hindi siya 27. This is 28. Okay? PAS number 28 or investment in associates. Okay? So PAS number 28 po to, ilagay lang natin correction. So dito, hindi po tayo nag-constitute ng isang full acquisition or majority acquisition po. In this case, we are, sa PAS number 28, we are exercising significant influence. Iba po ito pagdating sa control. Bascom deals with control. Okay? Ibig sabihin po, sila na po yung nakakapag-design po ng major business decisions. Kapag po associate kasi, significant influence. Ibig sabihin po, kapag investment in associate ka po, nakaupo ka sa board of directors. Okay? Nakaupo ka as part of the board of directors of one of your subsidiaries. Hindi ka po lahat nasusunod, pero yung sinasabi mo may bigat na po. Okay? Now, this is again, investment in associates po doon, and joint venture, and minention po rin sa PAS number 28 yung paggamit po ng equity method. So, paano po ba ang equity method? Equity method is pertaining po sa pag-measure natin ng investment account natin. Okay? Paano po ba natin kine-carry yung investment account natin? We start with your beginning balance. Add the share in net income. Then we deduct any dividends received from subsidiary, and you will arrive at your ending balance. Natandaan niyo po, yung share in net income, I'm using the word net income. So, ibig sabihin, P&L plus OCI po. Okay? When it comes to the share in net income, it will include both the profit and losses and other comprehensive incomes kung meron mo yung subsidiary po natin. So, ano po ibig sabihin ng OCI? So, OCI, this is going to cover these types of income reported by your subsidiary. So we'll use the mnemonic siguro carrot. So ito po ay cash flow hedge. Cash flow hedge, ito ay tinuturo po sa Forex. No? So ito po ay when you are transacting po with a foreign entity, ayaw mo po na masyadong volatile po yung perang matatanggap natin. So to avoid po yung pera natin na masyadong random, naglalagay po tayo ng tinatawag na derivative. So yung derivative po natin, meron tayong dalawang options po. We can carry it at fair value method or fair value hedge, or we can carry it under a cash flow hedge. Ano ba kapag cash flow? Kapag cash flow hedge ang ginagamit natin, yung pera na matatanggap po natin, hinihintay natin actually dumating before natin i-record. Okay? Next, we have your actuarial gain or loss. So ano po yung actuarial gain or loss? Saan natin makikita to? Philippine Accounting Standard 17. Pagdating po sa employee benefits. Okay? So, 19 pa lang. So, employee benefits po natin is meron tayong projected benefit obligation. Tsaka, fair value of plan asset. Diyan sila nakikita, no? Sa part ng actuarial gain or loss. Again, bakit ba natin kailangan i-mention? Kasi po, part siya ng financial statement kapag nag-report tayo. At at the same time, whether P&L po or OCI, part important siya ng ating share in net income. Very important po yan. Okay? So, next, we have your revaluation surplus. So, ano po to? Ito po yung pag-measure po natin ng isang fixed asset based on fair market value provided elected po ng board of directors na inaalaw po nila ito. This is seen in your Philippine Accounting Standard 16, yung revaluation model. Next, we have your risk on credit transaction. Ito medyo fairly new po to, yung sa bangko po natin, regarding po sa mga investments po natin na very volatile. Yung amounts po nila, yung measurements po nila, medyo hindi po natin ma-monitor kung ano yung pwede i-affect or ibaba ng value. So, kapag ganyan po, OCI item din siya, risk on credit transaction. And we have your OCI investments. So, this is reference po, lecture natin ito mamaya. Makikita natin to sa PFRS 9. Okay? So PFRS 9 is dealing with your financial instruments. And finally, your translation, gain or loss. At makikita natin to sa, actually hindi siya mako-cover natin, pero mention po to sa consolidated FS. Pero dahil nga sa time constraint natin, hindi natin mako-cover. Ang translation po, for example, si Jollibee, meron po si Jollibee branch sa Dubai. Ngayon, kapag po si Jollibee magpe-present ng financial statement nila, di ba sabi nga natin, dapat consolidated lahat ng assets nila. Eh paano yun kung may branch nila sa Dubai? Paano nila i-measure po yun? Yung pag-measure nila, gagamitin po nila yung translation. Okay? So may dalawang method tayo dito. We can use the temporal method or the current rate method. Ang temporal method ginagamit natin kapag hyperinflationary po yung bansa, hindi current rate. Okay. So again, details lang siya na hindi importante sa lecture natin. Pero importante lang kita nyo, especially sa paggagawa mo ng consolidated records. Okay? Next po. This is going to also deal sa group accounting na mention na natin po kanina, PFRS number 3, business combination. This is going to define what a business combination is, and this is also going to help us identify the proper measurements po ng total assets, total liabilities, the measurement of goodwill, and non-controlling interest. Next, PFRS number 10 is also here in group accounting for the presentation of a consolidated financial statement. This is going to deal with your elimination entries, your intercompany gains and losses, and ano ba ang pwede natin i-present kapag kinonsolidate na natin yung FS. So, dito is PFRS number 10 is going to deal also with control, the procedures, and it's going to detail what an investment entity is. So, ang investment entity, i-short lang natin, isa po siyang business na nag-hold po ng shares ng ibang kumpanya. Yun yung trabaho talaga nila. So, kapag investment entity po, they do not constitute a business combination. Okay? Yung mga traders po, mga stockbrokers po, na mga kumpanya, hindi daw sila kinoconsider na business combi. Because yung hawak po nilang mga shares is intended for sale. Okay? Finally, sa group accounting po, we are also going to mention PFRS number 11 for joint arrangements. Again, hindi po siya part ng business combination or part na consolidated FS. It's a separate standard. A joint venture is from the word itself, a joint venture between two or more corporations where they partner to acquire or to operate separately with the intention of dividing profit. So para silang partnership ng isang corporation. So dito, this is going to deal with the two types of joint arrangements, and that would be your venture and your operations. So dito, nakalagay din po sa PFRS number 12 yung disclosure requirements, as all of these constitute a related party transaction. So related parties are mandatory na dapat i-disclose po sa financial statement natin. So any transaction between the parent and the subsidiary should be disclosed as a related party, provided that yung i-report natin financial statement ay separate po. But kapag yung financial statement na ipapresent natin ay consolidated, hindi na po kailangan. Okay? So very important po itong disclosure, as in audit, one of the riskiest parts in any engagement po is related parties, kasi pwede pong gamitin ng client to para i-manipulate yung financial statement. So, let's define the basic steps or basic concepts pa pagdating po sa business combination. First, we have the biggest part of the business. We call them the parent entity. The parent entity is the entity that controls. So, very important yung wording natin, control. This is different no, pagdating po sa significant influence. Control means ikaw lang talaga ang masusunod. Okay? So that is your parent. Pero sir, I remember before sa investment in associates, na may mention din yung control doon. Yes, kaya po nalilito yung mga students. Kasi ang turo sa schools is there is little to no distinction. However, the standard is clear when it comes to the parent entity. This is an entity that shows control. So the entity that controls one or more entities. Okay? So, control control. Iba po yung control sa significant influence. So, dito, example natin ulit, walang kamatayan, si Jollibee. Okay? The Jollibee is going to control. So, control is 50% and more, or more than 50%. Coffee Bean, as we mentioned kanina. So, subsidiary entity is controlled by another entity. Then, ang tawag po natin dito is a group. The parent plus all subsidiaries is considered a group. In cases po, sa practice, if nag-audit po tayo ng client, okay, and we are required to audit several consolidated clients, ang tawag po doon ay group audit. Okay? So, next, we have like a picture. Okay, so, next is Burger King, joint venture. So, joint venture po, two or more entities share control of a different entity. So, control pa rin siya, pero may kausap din po si Jollibee na ibang entity in taking over ng Burger King. So, hindi 100% si Jollibee. Okay? So, meron siyang kasama po dito. Ang tawag natin doon, joint venture. Next, kay siya, an entity where an investor has significant influence but is neither a subsidiary or joint venture is going to be classified as an investment in associate. Okay? So, ang tawag dito, significant influence. Marami po kasi mga students or tao nalilito sa distinction po ng associate at business combination. Simple po, kapag po associate, significant. Kapag business combi na po, acquisition na po, 50 or more, control na po pinag-uusapan natin dito. Okay? So, going back, ano ba yung mga types ng investments po natin na meron? And let us differentiate yung tatlo. We have your investment in subsidiary, your investment in associates, your joint arrangements. So, let's make a distinction po sa tatlo ito. Start tayo. So, ang criteria po natin, yung, let's differentiate them based on criteria, their indicator, and their accounting treatment. So, kapag in subsidiary po, again, ilang beses na po na ulit, we are looking for control. Okay? Control. For associates, we are looking for significant influence. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, again, yung word mo, may karga po kapag po tayo ay nag-show ng significant influence. And for joint arrangement, the exercise of joint control. For the share indicator, the percentage po of subsidiary is 50%, more than 50%, 50 plus 1. For associate, we are looking at 20% plus, but not more than 50%. And for joint arrangements, not available as, this is not pertaining to a share indicator, but a joint control. Pero tandaan nyo ha, kapag joint venture, joint control siya, pero meron din po silang ina-acquire ng portion ng share. Pero wala pong mention sa BFRS number 11 regarding sa percentage of ownership ng joint venture. Because it's going to fall under subsidiary po. Okay? The accounting treatment for subsidiary is the acquisition method. So the acquisition method has two styles and two types. Discuss natin later. Paano ba tayo mag-measure at ano po gagamitin nating method? Ano ba mas magandang gamitin method? Depende po sa situation. Under associate po, we use the equity method. Okay? Equity method. Sa mga lumang accounting questions din po, yung pinagpa-practicean po natin when we were students po, they were using the cost method, which was outdated na po, hindi na po ginagamit. Isa na lang po ang type ng investment na gumagamit ng cost method. And that would be your financial instruments. Okay? Yung ating FAFBPL, FAFBOCI, sila na lang po yung gumagamit ng cost method. At hindi pa nga cost method yun, fair value method pa kayo. Okay? So, finally, kapag po joint arrangement tayo, we are talking about the type of joint arrangement. Kapag joint venture, we use the equity method. Now, note nyo po, pagdating po sa joint venture, pakasya pa nila. Kapag kumating po tayo sa joint venture, meron po tayo, generally, equity method. The equity method is only used under full PFRS. So listed companies po natin, sila po ay equity method. Pero kapag po yung entity po natin ay hindi po under full PFRS or PFRS for SMEs, okay? Ito po yung available methods nila. Meron tayo equity, meron tayo fair value, at meron tayo cost method. So there is a different measurement principle kapag po small medium enterprise po yung entity natin. Pwede nila gamitin itong method na to. Okay? So sa equity method, ang treatment po nila sa dividends is return of investment. Pag sinabi natin return of investment, dinaminus po natin to sa balance po natin. Okay? Kapag fair value method po, ang treatment po natin sa kanya ay revenue, and under the cost method, revenue po siya. Next is your subsequent measurement. Ibig sabihin, magkano po ba natin dapat i-carry ang isang joint venture at year-end? Under equity method, again, based on computation. At ano pong computation yan? Nandito kanina. So, almost the same po sila pagdating sa computation nila. Okay? So, next, fair value method. Pag sinabi pong fair value, edi yung subsequent measurement natin, fair value. And the cost method, at cost. So kung magkano po natin binili yung investment natin na joint venture, at we elected to use the cost method, kung magkano binayad mo at year-end, pareho pa rin po dapat ang i-measure natin. So there will be no changes. However, applying po PAS number 36, papasok po yung impairment. Okay? Impairment. So, testing for impairment ang equity method. So, this is also going to translate dito sa JV natin na equity method. Mag-i-impair din po tayo. Okay? Tested for impairment siya. Cost method, yes, tested for impairment. However, tandaan nyo, pagdating sa accounting, majority po ng naka-fair value method. Okay? Majority po ng topics that are reported under a fair value are not tested for impairment. Okay? Bakit, sir? Because yung measurement natin sa kanila, sumusunod na nga po sa fair value, sa market value, it is no need to impair them. Kasi nakafollow naman talaga sa market. However, kapag hindi, tulad ng equity and cost model, tested for impairment po sila. Ibig sabihin, annually, titignan natin kung nagbago na yung pangalan ng investee, or nagkaroon po ba ng significant impact sa operations po nila. Kung meron, we are supposed to impair them and to report any losses sa P&L. Okay, so going back, medyo nawala tayo dito. Next, papasok po tayo sa other investments. So ano po yung other investments na meron tayo? Papasok po yung na-mention natin. This is financial instruments. Okay? Under PFRS 9. Okay? So, ano ba ulit? So, isa-isahin natin. Teka, mabubura ko lang. Okay. Burahin ko lang to, then i-mention na rin natin siya. So, yung medyo nakakalito po sa PFRS number 3, tsaka 10, ay ang dami nilang mention ng ibang standards. Makikita niyo, isa siya sa pinakamakapal pagdating po sa reference. Marami silang reference na standard. Kasi nga, isa siyang type ng account. Actually, hindi siya account, no? Some type siya ng activity that involves so many things. So, mention na natin dito. PFRS number 9 for financial instruments po. PFRS number 9 differentiates investments under two categories. Meron tayo equity, meron tayong debt. So, ang target ng lecture natin ngayon talaga are equity investments. Okay? Ano ibig sabihin po ng equity investments? Nagbigay ako ng pera sa kumpanya, yung pera na binigay ko ay mapupunta sa shares nila. Okay? Yung pera na binayad ko represents their shares. So, tawag ng equity. Pero kapag yung pera na binigay ko ay pinautang ko po sa kanila, ang tawag doon ay debt securities. Okay? So, next, let's look at the sub-classification po. Sa equity, meron po tayong tinatawag na FAFVPL, FAFVOCI, and your associate. So dito, na-mention po yung PAS number 28. Next, ang tawag po sa dalawang method na to Okay, it was referenced in PFRS for SMEs. This was actually a fair value model.